Alright, hello there everyone, this is Crits back at it, and I'm gonna be watching the Capcom livestream during Tokyo Game Show 2020 on the 26th of September. This is gonna be the one that's also being simultaneously translated into English, at least so far. That has worked relatively well. From what I could see, and I'm mainly interested in the Monster Hunter part of the stream, so I just waited until now. In a few minutes they should switch to Monster Hunter, I believe. So first I think we should see some more Monster Hunter Rise gameplay probably, and then I'm really hoping for some readily translated information on Monster Hunter Stories too, because a lot of what was streamed yesterday in Japanese was already translated, of course, by people who actually speak Japanese, unlike me. And there was a ton of interesting stuff. There was also some stuff that I just overlooked. There was in one of the shots where a rider could be seen riding a somewhat grown out Rathalos. That was supposed to be the protagonist from the first game, apparently, and he was riding Ratha. So there's not much hypothesizing around that anymore. It is him and Ratha in that shot. I believe it's probably gonna be a flashback. That's what I imagine it will be. And we're gonna play as his grandson. We will receive his kinship stone, and we will receive a Rathalos egg from that Wyverian girl, I believe, that distinguishes herself from others in the game by having only 4 fingers and having pointy ears. So the theory that's currently going around is that despite the scars not matching up, the old Rathalos should probably turn out to be Ratha. That old Rathalos that Ina encounters in the forest, and that gives her this Rathalos egg. That might be Ratha. It makes sense despite the non-matching scars, since in that shot, which might be a flashback, he actually doesn't have a scar at all on his right eye where it should be. Oh wait, no, we saw his left eye. Oh, it is his left eye. Sorry, I just had to reconsider that real quick. But it is his left eye that should be marked by a scar. That is not the case in the shot that was explained to be him and the protagonist of the first game. So it is very much possible that the scar just healed, his eye recovered, and he got a new scar on his face, that cross-shaped scar that we see in the interaction with the Wyverian girl. So that might actually make it possible for him to be Ratha from the first game. And that possibility alone is already something many consider to be insane, because just imagine it being Ratha that has grown old and is living in the forest now, and she meets him maybe one last time, and there was some talk about death in the presentation yesterday. So it's not completely impossible for us to witness Ratha's last moments. That would be incredibly sad, of course, but also at the same time, because of that, a very, very strong narrative point, in my opinion. So if that's going to be the plot, we're going to inherit Red, as the protagonist of the first game is now apparently called, his kinship stone, and also apparently we're going to receive an egg from what might be his partner, Ratha. And yeah, that's kind of cool to think about these two games being connected in such a way. If that turns out to be true, I'm all in for it. I'm also wondering a little bit why they would call the protagonist of the first game Red, if that is a an intentional reference to the Pokemon series, or especially the first game or the first two games where Red was the original protagonist, and in the second game he was this legend that no one had seen in a long time. So I can't really imagine it not being a reference and just being coincidence. That would be weird. But yeah, otherwise I'm just hyped to see what's up next, and I hope this will start soon. I think it should be around this time where they go over Monster Hunter details. Now they are still showing off Street Fighter V merchandise, which is a little weird. Let me just look it up real quick again. What the timetable says. Might just cut this waiting time out later or something. Also, it's a little bit more boring because this is not getting translated. Maybe the translators are taking a break in order to return for the Monster Hunters part. But as far as I'm concerned, Monster Hunter should start around this time right now, because Street Fighter V was supposed to start 40 minutes before the Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2 stream. I'm just hoping I won't have to wait for much longer at this point. Street Fighter 2 is just really not, or Street Fighter in general is just really not something that interests me all too much. Good for all of those who are interested in this. This looked pretty cool, what they showed, for if you are a fan. But if you've never been like into the series as a whole, then this is just not very interesting. I'm sure you understand. I hope that Street Fighter fans will have gotten something out of this and maybe enjoyed it, this part of the stream. Well, maybe I turned in 10 minutes too early. That might be something. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, shit. Oh, but this looks like Monster Hunter Riders, right? Yeah, this is Monster Hunter Riders, the mobile game, I believe. That's not available where I live. Yeah, that is definitely Monster Hunter Riders, not Monster Hunter Stories 2. Wait, is everything from now on just going to be in Japanese? I was expecting the translation to continue. Yeah, this is definitely Riders, not Stories 2. That also does look pretty nice, and I'd be all in for maybe a Switch port, or I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the game. What I like about it is that was the first time we actually got to see fully grown monsters in a Monster Hunter Story/Riders game. Something I missed about the original. But since it's only available in a very selected few countries, yeah, it's just not a big win for us. Don't even know what countries it is. Oh wait, are they... I'm just noticing right now. Why is this in full screen format? Is this coming to Switch? No. This is not coming to Switch. No, 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 no. No, okay, it's still only... I'm just getting confused right here. Seriously? Now there's an entire section on Monster Hunter Riders? That wasn't something that's on the timetable? Why? This is weird. Let's hope it's not too long. I mean, if this was coming to Switch, like now, in order to make the wait for Rise and Stories 2 a little shorter, that would be awesome. Like this, however, wasn't this just the trailer that was already available on second thought?
まだプレイされたことがないという方はこの機会にぜひダウンロードしてみてください。はい、皆さんもぜひね、プレイしてみてください。よろしくお願いします。お願いします。さあ、モンスターハンターライダースの情報はここまでとなります。はい。では次のタイトル
I mean, this should be the translation, the transition into Rise and Stories 2, right?
キャンペーンの情報でございます。はい。ショコラちゃんお願いします。はい、まず一つはですね、モンスターハンターライズ、モンスターハンターストーリーズ2、バイオハザード、
Yes, there we go. Now come on, let's hope the translators are back from their break and have rested a bit so they can provide us with the information we want. Yeah, that was the stream I was waiting for.
合計10名様にデジタルギフトの新定番クオカードペイ1万円分が当たるキャンペーンを実施しております。
Okay, they're explaining something about how you can purchase Monster Hunter Rise, I guess. Not sure though.
さらにもう一つ、本日の番組終了までのどこかで
That artwork looks pretty sick though. Again, it's just not that interesting when you're literally understanding nothing. But yeah, maybe I could mention that I'm more hyped for Monster Hunter Stories 2 than ever after having picked up the original game again, now that the second part is announced. And I've been trying to get some of the rare monsters that I'm still missing. Recently found a Kirin, which was completely awesome. Found it in a nest where I believe there was a Raytheon. So not even a Kirin nest, but there was a Kirin egg inside, and now I have a unicorn to ride upon. And that is so cool. I can now ride into battle on a unicorn in full plate armor with a cat on my shoulder and an electric guitar as my weapon. That is just so awesome. And I'm very, very excited to get more of that in part 2. I'm just waiting for the transition now. When are you going to switch to Rise and Stories 2? Come on. I mean, the whole time schedule of the stream was very confusing to me from the start. Ah, there they are. Okay, now we're back in English. Awesome.
Now, everybody, thank you for tuning in Capcom TGS Live 2020. Let's move on to our next title.
Yes, thank you, finally. Okay, here we go. I am very excited to see more of these games. And maybe see a little bit more than just what we already saw of Monster Hunter Stories 2, hopefully. And also Monster Hunter Rise. That looks so amazing.
Time to talk a bit more about Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, The Wings of Ruin. We announced these games only recently, but they've already got lots of people talking.
Oh yes, they have.
This presentation will be simultaneously interpreted into both English and Chinese. Hi, that's me.
Thank you.
If you want more information and you're not, don't know how to listen to the thing that I'm saying right now, please go onto their official website. So first, we're going to start with Monster Hunter Rise, and we've got the producer, Ryozo Tsujimoto,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
the director, Yasunori Ichinose, here to tell
See
you
what
more
they have
about
to
the
say.
game. Hi, I'm Tsujimoto. Oh, you can see the little text right there. And I am the director, Ichinose. So, Mr. Tsujimoto, you already talked a bit about these games at TGS Online 2020 yesterday. So what do you have in store for us today? So on this show, I will cover what I talked about yesterday a little bit, but I will also be showing you an exclusive first look at live gameplay.
Yes, nice. Okay, so that's today. That wasn't yesterday. That was why there was so little gameplay yesterday. Okay, now it makes sense.
First ever reveal of this gameplay.
Yeah, amazing. Okay,
so let's not
cool.
waste any more words. Where do you want to start? We'll start off by showing you the first trailer that we showed yesterday at Tokyo Game Show
Again?
2020.
Really?
The special Tokyo Game Show 2020 version. We want you to take another look at it today.
Okay, I mean, it's fine. It's not like everybody's probably seen it by now already. But yeah, fine by me. Whatever. Show it again. So yeah, there's also this really amazing plushie of the what was it called again? I'm afraid I can't remember what the doggos are called. I read it and heard it already, but right now I can't remember. But there's a really awesome plush of those that's available in Japan, I think. It's quite expensive, but it also looks really high quality. I think if I was a hardcore Monster Hunter fan, I would just not mind paying, like, what is it? $150 or something for that, because it's almost life-sized and it looks like it has a really fluffy fur. So playing the game with that on your knees, that must just feel amazing. Yeah, these are the new monsters. I think we all know them by now. And I mean, the designs are fantastic once again. As usual. Monster Hunter just has these super amazing, semi-naturalistic monster designs that... Oh wow! I didn't see that yet. So it seems they've altered the trailer a little bit. With like new armor sets, also armor for the dogs. That's amazing. Seems I was a little bit early to judge. There were a few new things in here. That's something. So you can put armor onto your mount and... yeah, there were, I believe, a few new combat tricks that were shown off now. Alright. But now let's get to the real interesting part, please. We've waited long enough.
Wow, that was just the first trailer for the game.
Actually, the second. But yeah, I believe for Japanese people, it's probably the first one.
After seeing that. So let me tell you.
That might be the case.
So our main focus on Monster Hunter Rise is making use of the portability of the Nintendo Switch, which allows you to kind of pick up and play the game wherever you want, whenever you want, and with anyone you want.
Yeah,
but I also
sure.
go into more detail later, but the Rise in the title refers to the freedom of movement that the player has. We thought a lot about what to kind of do. And you'll be able to see a lot of this when we do the gameplay later. But you're able to really jump upwards and use the wire bug to climb to all sorts of places. So that sort of rise is something that we wanted to bring into the title.
So far, so good.
So now from here on, Ichinose and I will tell you what kind of game Monster Hunter Rise is going to be and what kind of features it's going to have.
Okay.
So let's start with the new
Let's hear
player
it.
actions.
New player
We have
actions.
some images for you on the screen.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's the wall climbing.
So as you can see, the player is using something called the wire bug, which allows you to give all sorts of new actions. So as you can see, this not only lets you scale steep cliffs and reach high places.
I mean, that's just awesome. That's also something that got me interested in Sekiro as the first ever Souls game or Souls style game that I was really intrigued by, since all the other ones seemed kind of slow and clumsy, and just the grappling hook in Sekiro seemed so much more fun to maneuver through this world than just being forced to walk everywhere. And I know the Dark Souls games are just that type of game, and that's not something negative by any means. It's just something that I'd rather be interested in something that provides more maneuverability.
And you can see the difference. Like another thing that we did is the difference between the camp and the locales that you visit. There is no borders in between them, so you can go straight into the action.
Okay, that's cool.
So now we'd like to introduce
no borders. I believe that means no obvious loading screens. Maybe some hidden loading screens.
This one's called the Shrine.
Sounds good to me.
Which is kind of like an old temple that's been ruined by the time. It's a ravaged field left over with old buildings.
Okay, we heard about that as well already.
You'll actually be able to see this a little bit more up close during some live gameplay in a moment.
Nice. That's what I'm excited for.
Wow, I can't wait to see it. So in that trailer, it also included something else, right? A new, I think it was a buddy, right?
It's funny how they use the exact same microphone model as me, just the wireless version.
New type of buddy is known as a
It's kind of cool to see.
So Palamutes actively coordinate attacks with a player, and you can even, I think, like, just like you're saying right here, you can ride on their backs to move quickly around.
Yeah, that's just so
They're
cool.
invaluable allies in and out of combat.
That is amazing.
So while you're riding a Palamute, you're allowed to move
Palamute, that was it.
Your
Okay.
hunter's stamina, normally without the Palamute, your hunter's stamina would increase, but when you're riding a Palamute, your hunter's stamina doesn't decrease. So you can
Yeah,
run
excellent.
across each area
Okay.
freely and really just kind of explore to your heart's content. Also, while you're riding a Palamute, you can also use some items and do some actions like recovering your health, and we'll show you a little bit of that later. Wow, it's really nice how seamless the game is and how stress-free it is because you can just move around on the back of the Palamute.
Yeah,
of
and
course,
you can
Palicos
also
are back
have
too, right? And he
Palicos.
says, of course, it wouldn't be Monster Hunter without them.
That's so cool that you can have both of those and also two at a time
So obviously
in
this time
single
we have
player.
these Palamutes as well, but for this time, we also have Palicos, of course, and when you're playing solo play, you're actually able to bring two
This is just something that's so cool about this, that they're expanding the game with something that just makes it more fun, I guess. No more backtracking, or at least no more tedious backtracking where you have to walk for minutes on minutes. And I mean, it's obvious that there's also some fan service in there with that plush that they're probably expecting to sell a lot of. But hey, no shame in making some money off of people's desires for cuddling cats and dogs.
So, obviously, the monsters are the stars of the show because it's Monster Hunter, right? Mr. Ichinose, could you tell us about them?
Ah, okay, now they're covering the monsters.
Before, the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Rise, it is the Magnamalo, which is a fearsome fanged wyvern. You can kind of see it's got this strong air of menace about it.
Not sure why they call this a wyvern or wyvern, because it doesn't have wings at all, as far as I am concerned.
Could you wait a little bit
That's
more?
a little
I'm sure you're
weird.
excited to find out more,
Maybe
but
I'm just
it will
not
be
that.
coming in the future. So we also added many unique new monsters, like the
Maybe that's just because I don't know Monster Hunter terminology that well.
There's also there also will be many fan favorites returning to this game as well. So we hope that everybody is looking forward to seeing both old friends and new enemies.
Okay, but they won't tell us which ones will return. Okay.
So there's lots of things that
I mean,
we haven't
hopefully there
talked
will
about
be
today,
some
but
from Monster
we'll be
Hunter
able to
World as
reveal
well,
a lot more as we go
like
on
the
in the future.
Legiana or Anjanath, or I don't know.
And of course, we haven't talked
Some
about
of
any
those.
the old enemies who are returning. So please keep your eye out for new information. So that's basically everything. We should just move straight to the gameplay.
Yes.
I think everybody
Nice.
is expecting or looking forward to that the most. So that's going to be our general summary, and now we'll get to the gameplay.
Good idea. I'm all in for it. Let's
so this
go.
is going to the very first live gameplay ever seen.
Cool.
What will be showing off today?
Let's see how
we're
smoothly
gonna
it
be showing you
runs
off
on the Switch.
Shrine ruins. That,
okay.
We talked about before. We also show you how you can move around using the wire bug. Also, your Palamute will, and a Palico. We're going to bring a Palamute and a Palico around. We'll mostly be talking about
that's
Palamute
great.
because he's new, and we'll be showing you a lot about him.
Nice.
So we're also going to be showing off a new monster, the Tubby Tetranodon.
Oh, what? Ah, that one. It's the big frog duck one, right?
Jewel blades.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be talking about. As
I always love me
Are
some
we
dual
ready?
blades.
All right, let's do it. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, wow.
So this
There we
is
go.
those runes, the shrine runes that we talked as well. And you can see the
Now, a question that I have is, can we rename those? Can we rename the Palico and the Palamute? Or Palamute?
To hunt down a Tetranodon before they came here, so they're just going straight to the action to show it off to you.
I mean,
So
they
you can
look
see some
great.
Cool rock formations around you.
Such a good design for the Palamute.
He's showing you this beautiful river as well, and oh man, I bet like the air is just really fresh here. Ah, nature. So he's popping into the tent now.
All right.
And
I mean, for a
this is
Switch
the
game, this looks
item box
really,
and
really good,
the,
as
buddy
far as I
board.
can tell.
Here you can,
That
he's
looks
showing you an option that
so
lets you
great.
eat as well. So yeah, the first option is the item box. The second one is
I
the
don't
buddy
think
board,
it
and
will
the
be
third one is
1080p
eat. The
though.
fourth one is just get out of here.
I don't
If you
see
go to the
that
top on the
happening.
item box,
Looks more like
you're able
something
to,
between
manage your
720
equipment
or
and change what you're
900p.
using.
They've also clearly used some kind of
So we're going to have
developer code
14
for
weapons,
infinite
from,
money,
like that you've
as
in
can
the
be
series
seen in
before.
the top right corner.
So I think people are looking forward to a lot of weapons that they've seen in the past. But we'll be talking a lot more about those weapons later, so stay tuned for more information. You know, this is nothing to do before, but you had like a lot of money, didn't you? He influenced.
I
Apparently,
mean, what
in the
is
box,
cool
you see
is
the
that
cash
it takes
somewhere, and it's like, man, you are rich.
not that much time to
It's like, I
go
have
into your tent and back.
been getting the money.
Oh, and I think, yeah, right, okay. So in the bottom, you can
saw him
see
just
how
use this on
he,
the screen. That was the
yeah, how he
wire bug.
consumes that wire bug icon.
So you can
That
see
has
kind
to
of right
regenerate.
below, on the center of the screen, below the feet of the player.
That's
There are
interesting.
these like two little icons that are slowly refilling. That is the wire bug icon. You can use two of them initially, and when you use one of them, you can see it kind of like becomes like temporarily unavailable. So you're able to use.
Oh, that's
two of
cool.
them
You can
quickly
just
in unison in
hang
a
in the
row,
air,
and then obviously you can see them recharging below as well.
and they recharge
She was really excited
independently
about the
from
fact
one
that you can be on
another.
top of that tent.
Now my
And,
question
you know,
is,
to add
will they
that,
also
you know,
be
you can use
consumed
the
by
wire bugs to
climbing?
get all over the place, access all sorts of really interesting places. You can go vertically, horizontally.
Will this be like stamina in Breath of the Wild, or will this be just exclusively
Basically, you just use that
for
aiming,
this
reticule that he popped up
kind
before,
of
put it
maneuvering?
in the direction you want to throw the wire bug, and then there it goes. It's really a free system that gives you a lot of versatility. versatility. I bet, we can probably make it up here too. Look. Haha.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't look like climbing would consume it. I don't believe so.
If you're on the edge, you can use them to do like little jumps to get up the over places that are
wow,
in the way,
I mean,
get over obstacles. So it's really
graphically for a Switch game, that is so cool.
So you can kind of use the wire bugs to search
I
around
believe
the
we can
environment and
already
find
see
hidden
the
labyrinth
resolution
points.
drop a little bit on
And
the
just kind of
character.
really interesting, kind of cute little things that
Still
we
doesn't look bad,
include in
but
the game. It's a really great way to kind of explore
I just hope
the
nobody
world
expects
of
this to
Monster
run
Hunter
at like
Rise.
super high resolutions.
And
At least
they're
not
really tall.
before
You're like,
a
is it okay
Switch
to
Pro
jump
comes
down?
out.
And obviously it is. So it looks like you can use the wire bug as you're falling down to
I really wonder
make it
what
look
this
cool,
would
but
look
he says actually if you fall
like
near the
with
ground, you still won't
with
take damage,
DS,
so the wire bug is just entirely new and
DLSS2.
classy. So
That would be interesting to see, but
wire bug
of course,
on the bottom. Next, you can
even
see
if there
to the right
was
of
a
that,
Switch Pro
there is
prototype
this
right
little
now, they of
icon.
course couldn't show
We're
it off
calling this the
at this
action
point.
slider. And using that, you
Mhm.
can issue orders to your Palamute or do
Okay.
other sorts of things. So, like right now, he used it to jump onto the back of the Palamute. And while you're on the back, you can do dashes and jumps.
Oh, that's just so
And
cool.
the Palamute's actually, got a little bit of a
That's a really high jump right there.
nice addition. So you can say he kind of grabbed on the edge of that hut and jumped on the top.
Okay, cool.
So,
I mean, that just sounds
basically,
like
it's really
like a
helpful to have
cool
the,
gameplay idea
Palamute
that
around to
expands
access
on what was
areas
there
fairly
before
quickly.
without destroying the core formula,
I'm gonna get
but
off of
just
here.
adding something onto it.
So you can also use that action bar to do some communication with your buddies. Like this
Oh,
one,
that's
like,
so
sit.
cute. Now the question everyone's
Or,
asked:
like,
oh, he can give
shake
paw, and you can pet him. Oh, that is so
You can
cool.
also do it
Something
with
that
the
Breath of the
Palicos as
Wild
well.
never let us do.
Oh, look how adorable he is.
Oh, that is so adorable.
I mean,
I love that.
this has nothing to do with actual gameplay elements. It's just, fun. It's just pure delight.
And that is what is amazing about
High
it.
five, cat. High five.
It doesn't give you any
So, yeah, the
advantage or
action,
something.
that
It's
literally
just there
was,
for the
kind of all
fun,
sorts of things.
and
So you saw there were
that's just what a
pictures of your
game needs to
animals,
be
your pet,
great.
your-
It
sorry,
can
your
be
buddies,
good
and you
without
also
it,
do
but
things like summon the
things like
Palamute to
these
ride
make
it.
games great. Ideas
So,
like,
you saw me
yeah,
just kind of make a
players
quick
might want to
slide down
interact
the
with their
mountain,
buddies.
and we're in this new area
Of course
now.
they would.
So
That was
this is the
so
main
cool
field of
seeing
the
that.
area.
Very good of them to show that off.
So I talked a little bit about this. You can join on the, you can summon kind of the Palamute to jump on it using the action slider. But if you're near the Palamute, you can also just hold A to just hop onto his back real quick as a sort of shortcut. He's also showing you that you can use, you can set shortcuts to kind of make it easier to use the commands that you want to use very often. So you can see he's
Okay.
saying it right now.
Some customization. Great too.
I've set
That's
things
really
to, like,
good.
use healing items and whatnot, sharpen weapons, and etc. etc. So the while you're on the
Now, what are those
Palamute, you're not
glowing
just moving,
orbs
you're able to do
right
other
there?
things and get all sorts of actions done and prepare for battle and whatnot. So next up is you can see this little green thing, right? It's kind of like
Seems to be a
little
bug
ball.
that's
That is
carrying
called a
something.
endemic life.
Endemic life, okay.
So you can collect these to do things like
Oh,
get little buffs like heal or get stamina
Uh-huh.
back.
that's
Or
nice.
gain
Okay.
other sorts of
So another small yet smart
it's
gameplay
only-
idea that
these
just
quests-
makes
these
things
buffs
more
are
convenient,
temporary.
I
They're
guess.
only active for the quest that you're on.
All right.
So we just kind of triggered the bad guy. We pulled him. So we're going to run over here so we can do some other stuff.
I mean, that's also really
before we
cool
go into the
that
fight.
your Palamute
So
is
normally, you
actually
see there's
capable
three
of
symbols for the wire
running
bug
up
on the bottom.
these
Before we
walls,
had only
climbing
two.
on vines and stuff.
What
That's
this
so
is
cool.
during quests, you can find wire bugs in the wild, that was weird, to actually increase the max amount of wire bug usage you have in that quest by up to 3.
I also quite like the translator. He's like messing up sometimes, but then he realizes it and corrects it, which is kind of what happens to me as well
That kind of will
when
help
making
you
these
get
kinds
a
of
little bit
videos.
more, mobility and move around a
So
little
yeah.
more. He also mentioned using
That's why I
it
kind
with
of like him.
Palamute, but sorry, I think I missed that little bit. I think he's just talking about climbing the vines that you saw before. So all the buff
that
items that you
that looks
are
weird.
used to from the Monster Hunter series,
Like he
of
was
course, will
suddenly
remain
riding
in the
his
series.
pedico.
This is an entirely new element that they have added to the game. So like you can kind of like search around the map and discover like your best routes to monsters and figure out the best way to play it. There's some that you don't have to do any of these to win. These are all kind of optional things if you want to go out of your way to find the extra buffs. So it's all kind of
Okay, cool.
gives you a
Yeah,
lot more ways to approach the game.
that sounds great
So
to
over here
me.
you can see this kind of grass thing that he's messing around with it. So you
Okay.
can see over here, he just like found a great wire bug in there, and you can use those that you found to make these super huge jumps, like the one that you just saw. Where you saw he just leaped up a tremendous distance.
That sounds amazing.
So like searching through the locales, you can
Okay,
find
and they're
really cool
temporary.
items
All
like
right.
this, and endemic lives and wire bugs that will let you maneuver and gain more buffs. It's a really interesting
That
thing
looked
that
so
adds,
cool.
rewards
I
the
mean, no one can
exploration
tell me that
aspect of the
didn't
game.
look really fun. Like just exploring this world by running up walls and getting everywhere with his wire bug.
Bamboo.
That sounds amazing to me.
So outside of the areas that you fight the monsters, like the one that you just saw, there's also these kind of like little side areas that are.
Oh, I guess
basically, you
the
won't find any
the
large
great
monsters
wire
wandering
bug
in
isn't
here, but there's
temporary
tons of
after
endemic
all.
life for you to go
It
around
seems
looking
he
at.
has 3 permanent wire bugs
There's some,
now.
like,
I might be wrong
destructible
though.
environmental bits that you can go and find hidden endemic life, collect them, gain some buffs.
Okay, yeah, that's cool too. Feels like some other aspect they took from Breath
all
of the
these buffs
Wild,
really
which
help
is
get these
just kind of
monsters,
cool in
but,
that game
they're
too.
not necessary. If you're
Like
really
cutting
good
the
at these
grass
games,
and
you're an experienced
uncovering
veteran
what's
of the Monster Hunter series,
underneath it.
you'd probably go straight into fighting the monsters if you want to. All this stuff is, once again, just an extra bit.
I feel like there are lots of
So,
extra bits in
the
here.
endemic life,
And that's so
definitely do all
great.
sorts of things. Like there's buffs. There's also some of them that can be used like items and other things. We'll be giving more information about these on a later date, but right now I think that's all we're going to say about them. So you can see him.
Okay, he
They were
can
talking about,
climb up some
here? And then he's like,
surfaces,
check this
apparently,
out.
just not straight walls
So you
without
can use
vines.
the wire bug to get up here if you want to, or you can use the Palamute. There's lots of ways to maneuver around the environment and explore. So, find a way that suits you, find a way that you like, and play the sort of game you want to play.
Amazing. That's great.
So once you get used to it, it starts feeling really nice to just bounce around and move around. So, it kind of changed the way the gameplay is. So, getting used to this new element in the game, this new dynamic mechanic is the word I'm looking for, really kind of changes the gameplay, and you can play around with different play styles and have fun. So now they're going to go and look for the Tetranodon and show you some straight up battle, which I'm sure you're all looking forward to.
Yeah, of course. I feel kind of weird, like talking or answering to that guy, although he can't hear me, but
Another bit of endemic life.
I think I'll have to get used to this if I want to continue streaming and recording reactions live and stuff.
But you can see
So,
on the bottom left, there's that sort of map, and that will generally show you where monsters on.
Wow,
And if you know what the
that
monster
looks
is,
good.
It'll show up as a little symbol, but the question marks are monsters that you haven't kind of
damn, the
encountered
blood.
yet, so you don't know what they are.
That's not too graphic, but there is blood in here.
There's also
Not
this
sure if
special
there
item that
was
kinda looks like a little owl that you can
blood
send off
in
into the
Monster Hunter
distance
World
that
that was
will
this
search out
visible.
and scout out
There probably
the
was.
locations and types of monsters and so
I'm
on.
probably just not remembering it.
A scouting
This monster design is also so damn unique. That's also why I think Monster Hunter Stories was such a great idea. Combining
So,
the
now we're showing off
monster
the Tetranodon,
collecting
and this is
genre
an
with
amphibious, hefty chunk, as I think I said
Monster
yesterday.
Hunter's
He's
awesome monster designs.
really
They are
big
nearly
already,
unparalleled by
but
anything,
while he's
really.
fighting, you can see him now. He's actually pretty big up. Once he eats something, he gets
This is something that
extra
works
full. He gets
together.
just practically pudgy, and what happens when that happens? He gets heavier, and his attacks become stronger.
Oh,
It also
okay.
changes his attack patterns a little bit. So, he moves slower because of this, so it's a nice kind of like different way of fighting the monster.
Okay, that's cool.
So now I'm going to show you a little bit more about the dual blades. Wow, look at that. Look at that stomp. Oof.
So he actually
So, he's just getting it
changes
normally now,
throughout
but-
the course of the battle, I guess. That's interesting.
So, right now he's used the wire bugs, but you're able to
He's
use the
using
wire
his
bug in
belly as a
coordination with your
weapon?
attack, like as you're seeing he's doing right here with the double blades to do some
Oh,
extra
that's
attacks.
hilarious. He's
And
just
every
straight up
weapon
lifting
has
up
a
his
number of different
belly
patterns
and
things
letting
you
it
can do,
crash the ground
collaborations attacks,
for damage.
that you can coordinated attacks you can make with a wire bug.
That's so cool.
And a lot of them
Oh, wow. I mean,
really
that
sort of,
wasn't that much damage,
go
but
well with the sorts of weapons you're using. So like, this one lets you increase your mobility and do extra damage at very specific points. So I'm going to show you one right now. It looks like he's going to throw the wire bug forward. So you throw the wire bug forward, and if the monster makes an attack into it, it gives you a chance to make a counter attack against it.
Oh,
So there are really
alright.
cool ways to use the wire bug and sort of a supportive role for your main weapon. And do, I think he just showed you right there. It was a little bit close, so it was kind of hard to see. But right as the monster attacked him, he threw out the wire bug, which is going to make that really cool counter attack.
wow, that's
That wasn't
cool.
it, I think. So, depending on the power of the wire bug coordinated attack that you make, you might use one or maybe two of these.
Oh,
wire
and
bug
now the
icons on
third
the
wire
bottom.
bug is actually gone again.
You can use.
So how
for
that
this one,
works
there's ways to
will
use this to
probably
make attacks, there's
be
ways to use
something
it as
they're
an
explained
animation.
later,
We hope
or
everybody kind
that
of
we'll see in the
experiments
game.
and tries to find out ways to use these various abilities to support their own particular game styles. So you can see this Palamute over here. He's fighting. So one thing people are probably worried about is that the Palamute does have HP. He can get hurt, but he will never die. So even if you get really, even if it gets really hurt bad, he'll kind of run off and not be available for a bit, healing up, eating
Oh,
dog treats or
alright.
something.
So kind of like Link's Master Sword or something, I guess.
So I think.
Okay, that's good. That we won't have
I
to
think we
worry
still have
about
time. He's
that.
thinking about ending the gameplay here, but we have a little bit more time, so he's going to maybe do it a little bit more. They're kind of discussing what do we want to do now.
I mean, it's cool that they actually think about what they will
I'm
be
sure a lot of
doing.
people want to see this whole fight out and see everything. But it looks like they're going to. Okay, so we got a little bit more time. So you see these question marks, so he's going to run over and encounter them. And he actually doesn't know what they are.
Oh, alright.
Oh,
Ah, I know that one.
man, look at this.
I know that one from Monster Hunter Stories already. So what's
yeah,
gonna
we have
happen
this guy
now?
who
Are,
just ran
are
over
they
here.
going
Oh
to
my God.
fight? Are they going to engage with each other?
So I think they said the name of it. I'm sorry, I don't recognize the name of that monster in English.
Yeah, don't blame you. I don't
But
remember it either.
Also terrifying.
Oh no, the other one just ran off.
So
Maybe he
there's
was too
also,
scared of
it
it?
sounds like he is a monster from the previous series.
Huh.
So we have quite a few of them in this game as well. So this is, I guess, a surprise reveal of this little
Okay, yeah, that's cool as well.
monster right here.
Awesome.
Dojo.
And so there will be multiple of these question mark
like the Japanese
encounters
dojo,
on
maybe
each
this
map,
guy.
I guess.
Sorry, I'm sure everybody's watching
they
this
could.
is more familiar with this monster than
And
I am.
you can just run up to them, and even if you're not hunting for that particular monster, you can just
So yeah, one interesting
find
thing that we
it
already talked about is in this
randomly.
game,
That's cool.
kind of different from the other previous Monster Hunters is the player character talks a lot more than it used to. You know, shout and yell and taunt and so on. But there is an option in the menu that allows you to kind of adjust this. So if you think like, you know, you don't want to hear your hunter talk, you want to just be quiet and stab things, you're able to change that and make it more just about, you know,
that's definitely gonna be necessary for the people that prefer their games to be a little more quiet and focused, or that feel distracted by stuff like this. That's good.
Character speech.
They really put a lot of thought into this, I think.
So they're kind of reiterating that, and they're talking about, you know, like, if you really want to listen to the character as the character, or if you really want to focus on the action, you can kind of mix around with that.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually like it when characters talk in the game, because it makes them a little more lively, I guess. But I also completely understand if you just prefer them to be quiet.
So it sounds like we have some more time. So more time than we initially thought we had. So we're gonna go.
Well, what about you take that time and just add it to the Monster Hunter Stories 2 stream, huh? No, but I know that won't work because they probably don't even have the possibility, or they're not allowed to show gameplay yet, I guess.
So yeah,
if there even is gameplay yet.
So like, you know, let's go extra far. Let's go the extra mile and show. Literally, let's go the extra mile and show some more stuff.
That's also so cool that they're actually excited to show more, and they take this opportunity, noticing, oh, we have time left, so let's use that actually in favor of the fans. That is very, very nice.
So yeah, like that kind of like triple wire bug thing he did there. She commented how like really nice that felt to see and do. And he's like, yeah, this is that mobility, the kind of light, the ability to run around and be mobile and explore the game. That's a really fun part of this. So they're just gonna keep exploring. Oh wow, look at him climb that cliff, and you can use the wire bug to kind of check out where you want to go like that as well.
Wasn't too new, I guess.
So you can also, for the most part, we showed him climbing the wall to straight, but you can go
kind of weird how the Palico and Palamute are seemingly digging through earth and stone in order to catch up to you. But of course, that's just something that makes the gameplay more convenient, and I guess that's more important than realism in most cases.
Let's run over here. He's like, let's go over there. He's like, is there something over there?
Also seems you won't take fall damage, I guess. Okay, item collection looks quite quick. That's something that distracted me a little bit about Monster Hunter Stories 2. Item collection just takes a few seconds there. What is that? Is that like a fat lynx or? Oh yeah, right. Looks more like a raccoon actually than a lynx.
I guess he hasn't realized.
Yeah, looks kind of cute.
He doesn't care. Yeah, he's a friendly little guy. He doesn't really care.
Okay. That's also something that's really cool.
I'm just gonna do what I want.
Not every monster is really aggressive, but there's also some friendly ones. That's cool.
So that is going to be it for today.
But I guess that's probably that probably has to be been like that. Oh god, I messed that sentence up so much. It has to have been a thing in other Monster Hunter games as well. That's what I was trying to say.
So now that we know more about the game itself, can you tell us more about what we should expect at launch? So first, I'll go over kind of everything. First off, Monster Hunter Rise will be released worldwide on March 26th, 2021.
We definitely don't know that by now.
We will have both a physical version and a digital version, so you can pick whichever one that you like. Though there will also be a Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth the extra money? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not sure if it would be worth it to me.
But all of this information will also be on our official website.
But be sure to let me know your opinion on that.
Wow, that sounds really fun. So one thing I want to ask, does Hunter Hunter Rise have any nice bonus items? So yeah, supply will be limited for all of the versions, but all versions
I mean,
will
it's also
include a
so cool
special
that
layered
are seemingly
armor
going to
for
be
your
at least
Palamutes
these
and
variants of
your
Palamutes and
Palico.
Palicos.
So you can see the Palamute has
Oh
the
wait,
retriever costume
it's an
layered
armor or
and
custom
the
layered
Palico
armor. I
has
think
the
that's
forest
probably
cat
appearance
costume,
armor.
Layered armor.
But that's cool.
They're super cute,
Having different
right?
types of
Capcom.
dogs or cats that you
I also
can
heard that there will be
make them look
amiibos
like.
as well. So yeah, we were going to have 3 Monster Hunter Rise amiibos released on the same day as the game. A Magnamalo, a Palamute, and a Palico.
Yeah, I mean,
these
I
will be,
personally
available on the
think
same
that
day as
that
the
Magnamalo
Of
amiibo
course, these
doesn't
tie into the
look
game itself,
that
you can
great.
use
The
them
colors
to
are a
unlock
little
things
off
in
in
the
my
game.
opinion.
Special layered
They look a
armors.
little
So we hope
too
everybody's excited
dark.
to grab them and check it out. So there will also be some other stuff, some crossover content with Monster Hunter Stories 2,
Okay, what's
which was
it gonna
also
be?
announced
Will they
simultaneously with Monster Hunter Rise.
will they
Hope
tell us
everybody's looking
now?
forward to more info
I
on
don't think
that.
so, right?
Right now,
No, of course not.
Pre-orders for the digital version and the physical version have already gone live.
Well, I'm excited to see what those compatibility
Everything we talked
features are
about today will
going
be
to
put up
be.
on the official website as well, so don't forget to give it a look. Alright, I think that about wraps things up. Now, Monster Hunter Rise comes out on March 26th, 2021. That is March 26th, 2021. Do you have any final words for our viewers about the games? I got a bit ahead of mine now. Now they're talking about their final words.
Final words, as if they were going to
Everyone who
dissolve
tuned
in a minute
to
or
watch our
something.
presentation on Monster Hunter Rise here for Capcom TGS Live 2020. We hope that you like the world's first view of the gameplay that we showed today.
Yeah, I certainly did.
Of course,
I think everyone's probably gonna be
we showed a lot
liking
more
it.
things that we
Can't imagine
more
why
things
you
that we
wouldn't.
intended to.
I mean, you can
So we
pet
hope that you enjoyed that,
Palamutes
but you're still
and the
looking forward to
Pedicos.
finding out all sorts
You
of
can
new
play with them.
information
That's
that
so
we do
cool.
have available for you in the future. So yeah, we hope you had a good time.
Why is he
and
wearing that hat? That
thank
looks a
you
little
for
weird.
watching today. Next, Sujimoto, do you have words for us? So, we will keep bringing you the latest info on Monster Hunter Rise in the future, and there will be a lot more to talk about before March 2021.
I certainly hope so.
There's still so much more to talk about, so if you want any more information, please make sure to follow the official SNS accounts. You can see some of them up here, like Line and Twitter. There will be more
I'm already
information
getting
on Monster
nervous
Hunter
because they're talking
Rise,
so much about last
as we
words and
move on
we're
to the
done
future, so
now.
keep a look out on it. So, thank you, Mr. Ichinose. That's all we have for today. That's all we have from. Sorry, that's all from Mr. Ichinose. Thank you very much for joining. We still have more to talk about. We're going to be talking about Mr.
Okay,
We're going to be talking
thank
about
you.
Monster Hunter Stories
Good.
2, Wings of Ruin with Mr. Sujimoto.
I was already fearing that they would just cut it off here.
So, Monster Hunter
And
Rise.
let's see
Released at the, announced
what
at
they're
the same
going to
time
tell
as
us.
Monster Hunter Rise was Monster Hunter Stories 2, The Wings of Ruin.
That artwork is
We
just
showed
so
off a
awesome.
trailer, when we announced it before, but we'd like to show it to you again for anybody who's interested. So
Oh,
here it
come
is.
on. Really? That's 2 minutes of the remaining time gone already. Again. I mean, I get why they do it, but... and I also get this is only a spin-off, but this is just... I'm so excited for this game. Please give me all my info. Come on. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious by now, I guess, that this is kind of a Rathalos worshipping tribe or something. And I imagine maybe the main plot might be that Rathalos are being I don't know how to say it right now, but they are fleeing from something in this region from some monster or whatever, and maybe the Rathalos that will hatch from our egg will actually be the last one in existence in that entire area, and we'll have to find out what drove them away and how to bring them back. That might be something. I'd be in for that plot. We now know that this is the grandson of the first game's protagonist. I love that Pelico's design. I like it way, way, way better than the one in the first game. That one just looked derpy. Not bad by any means, but a little too derpy for me. And yeah, I like this one so much better. There we can see her having only 4 fingers, which is really interesting. There we go. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. And now, come on, please let us see some new footage or some new pictures or anything about the world or... I don't know, just something,
that was
please.
The promotional video for Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now, what can you tell us about the game? So, we announced this the other day. So, thank you everybody for all the great responses to our reveal. So, this is a game that's slightly different from the normal Monster Hunter games where you're a monster hunter and you're fighting monsters. It's a very action-focused game. In this game, however, it's going to be different. It's going to be a role-playing game.
Here we can actually see that if this is really Ratha, then the scar on his eye is going to disappear, at least for some time. And then he might get another scar on his face.
Explore and do all sorts of really interesting RPG things. So with them, you're going to travel to various locations and progress through stories and quests, so very RPG-like. So now, I want to give you a basic explanation of the Monster Hunter Stories 2 setting.
Okay.
So in this world, Rathalos, all the Rathalos have mysteriously disappeared from the world.
Okay, so it's actually correct. All the Rathalos are gone.
And they meet a Wyverian girl who has been entrusted with a mysterious egg. The two then set on an epic tale surrounding the Wings of Ruin. And as you saw in the video, there are several familiar monsters such as Rathalos and Legiana. Lots of monsters that you've seen from the other games in the Monster Hunter series. So, this is an adventure where you travel together with monsters. So the bonds between a rider and the monster naturally play a big part in this story. So this is a way to play Monster Hunter in not the normal action way, but like a slightly different way. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about the characters?
Is this just gonna be the same as yesterday? Really?
Yesterday, he introduced the character Red. So he is actually kind of a legendary rider. He's not the player. We want to make sure that you know that he is a legendary.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a flashback in that case.
In the world of Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, and
I mean, this has to be a Pokemon reference.
So we can't tell you too much about him because
I just can't imagine it not being that.
But just so you know,
which is kind of ironic because I personally think this will by far exceed the potential of the current gen Pokemon games so far.
For this,
I might be wrong. I might be right. I don't know.
Customize the character as you want, so you can kind of make make a character that really fits you. You can do all sorts of things to make them.
That's also so amazing. I think those all look great.
Of a character that we made. These are not the characters you can play. These are examples of the character customization that we have for you.
That is amazing.
Wings of Ruin. Like wow, she's commenting on how
I was a little afraid.
So yes, there's
I was a little afraid they might drop this feature just for convenience, but turns out they didn't.
One thing that's interesting is
they're including it again. That's so cool.
Riders have weapons, and these are a lot from the series. In addition to the Great Sword, Hammer, Sword and Shield, and Hunting Horn from the previous game, we're planning to add 2 more weapons from the Monster Hunter series. So we hope you look forward to finding out what those are.
Okay, they are not even going to tell us which ones those are? Really?
So, yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about her in detail. So Anna is a girl who accompanies the protagonist on their journey. She is a Wyverian who has been entrusted with an egg by Ratha, and meeting her is
It
what
was
starts the
Ratha. It's confirmed now.
adventure. So
Oh.
these two will go on the adventure together. Yeah,
That
so
is
it's
so
kind of like they're going
cool.
to form a team and go and have an adventure. So this is something that wasn't included in the video. I brought something to show you guys. Right here.
Okay. Ah, she is a bonding kinship
So
stone
this glowing thing you see over there is
too.
something
That's
called
cool.
a kinship stone.
Yeah.
So
And that's the new
kinship
design. I
stones
like
are
it.
something that
I like that
riders
new
use
design.
to,
It's a
deepen
lot
their
more
bonds
sleek than in the
with
first game.
with their monsties that they team up with.
Ah, they're still called
So,
monsties. Okay.
Anna is not a rider, but she does have a kinship stone, and this is key to the story. But we won't talk
Okay.
about it just yet because that will reveal a little bit way too much.
Interesting. She's not a rider, but she
A
has
lot
a
of people are
stone.
probably thinking about, oh, I
Huh.
wonder what this is about. What sort of story is going to wait for us? But that will happen later.
Okay,
So
there's
here are
the
some
other
characters
characters.
that we saw in the PV, the trailer. We will be telling you more about them in the future. There are, of course, many other characters in the story that we're not introducing today, so please look forward to learning more about them as well. So thank you for the new information. I really look forward to finding out what it is.
Is that it?
So, as I mentioned earlier,
Is that really it?
tie into Monster Hunter Rise, so you can look forward to that as well.
Oh, come on.
There's also things in Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, that are in Monster Hunter Rise. So there's a lot of
Oh,
information,
man.
kind of collaboration between.
I'm
these
so
two titles.
disappointed now.
So
Not by the
next,
Monster Hunter Rise part. That was amazing.
When do you expect people will be able to play Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin for themselves? And Tsujimoto says that
This is also nothing
we're
new.
planning to release the game in summer of 2021. You can see it on the screen right there. So we're developing Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, not just for Monster Hunter fans, but for all RPG fans. So
Okay, we knew that as well.
great. So keep an eye out for more information. And wow, I think that's about all the time we have today.
Is that it?
I think next up is Hirai-san going to go some crazy, super exciting. They're commenting. I'm not sure. This part is not simultaneously interpreted into English, but the two great special guests.
I guess
have a really
this is
fun
really
kind
the
of
end.
dynamic between them. They're up next, and he's commented
Wow.
on how they're a really interesting pair. And it's
Okay,
really
I think we're gonna leave it at that. That was... I don't know. I don't get why they are handling this game like that. The way they are handling Monster Hunter Rise is excellent, in my opinion. But then Monster Hunter Stories 2? First in the Nintendo Direct Mini, where they first showed it, they showed the trailer, and then afterwards said they were going into more detail about both games after the Direct Mini. And after the Direct Mini, they went into more detail with Rise, but they just showed the trailer for Stories 2 again and said pretty obvious things about it, like things you could just find out by looking up what Monster Hunter Stories as a series is, or as a game. And then they showed something yesterday about the game in Japanese, and today they showed the same stuff again. Why? I mean, it's nice that they translated it simultaneously, because yesterday I frankly didn't understand a word until I read what they said afterwards, but why does this keep happening? I get it's only a spin-off, and it's probably not developed that far yet. But why are they saying again and again that there will be more on Stories 2, and then they just repeat what they've already said? I don't know. the only new thing about this presentation right here was the translation and Anna or Ina having a kinship stone but not being a rider. That was all. And I've waited hours for that? Really? Like, I don't have a problem with them repeating it for promotional purposes, but I think the communication about that should be more clear. They should say in advance that they will be just focusing on Monster Hunter Rise and not market it as this 2-game presentation when it's really just Monster Hunter Rise, and then they show the trailer again and say stuff about it that we already know. That just doesn't feel good to me. Monster Hunter Rise looks absolutely fantastic. Monster Hunter Stories 2 looks fantastic, but the presentations have been highly disappointing to me so far. I don't know why they're doing this. I find it to be somewhat misleading. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both of these games so far. I mean, we do have confirmation now too that old Rathalos is actually Ratha that gives Ina that egg. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to find out more about this game. I just wish they would just show 1 or 2 screenshots of battles or something. I don't know. Something new, something that we haven't seen yet. But maybe they just aren't that far into development, which I can't really imagine. But, oh man, it feels a little bit bitter. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments if you'd like to. And I think the Monster Hunter Rise part was pretty spectacular. And yeah, I guess we'll just have to see when there's going to be actually new information on Stories 2. And yeah, until then, I hope you guys will have a great time, and I'll see you next time.